here we go. We got Doug's car in the house. Doug's car is a 420G Jaguar. But he has the bottom of it painted. Looks really nice on the bottom. He has it pinstriped off in it red. When he first got the car, he thought he was just going to leave the black. But as he got the silver looking so nice, now the black isn't doing so good. Or I guess the thing was he had put some tape on it and it had hauled off the paint. I sanded that right there, right quickly. I sanded that. I probably shouldn't have, just to show you what's going on. Look at this now, would you? Inspection sticker 75, 76. Last time she's probably on the road. Wow. You can see come look this way. We've got some paint missing here, and it's got little rust underneath of it. The whole car seems to have that issue on the top. Let's peel this tape off right quick, and I almost want to get off the light bulb before I do it. I'm gonna see if it peels any paint off. Yeah, we peeled some paint off there. What I'm gonna say is, I would hope that anybody tapes their car off would not peel their tape off like that. Don't do that. I was just doing that to see if it pulled the paint off, and it did. When you're taping something off, you always try to, what can I say? Never get your tape onto the paint or tuck it in. You don't ever do that. Don't do that, because you'll end up putting paint will layer over top of it, and then you'll peel your paint off. That was just a test. Excuse me. I have to tap my lymph nodes this morning. I'm gonna tap them things, get them things going. I don't know if anybody knows that or not, but I do a lymph node drainage usually every day. That's just so I don't get sick, and I don't want to get sick because I have, we got to work, or that's what we feel like we should do. If you really want to work every day and not get sick, you should do this. You should do a lymph node drain every day just to make sure your filters are working and everything's going good. But anyways, as we get on this, I can see how the paint is pulled off. It's pulled off there. If you come close, you can see on the hood, you can see sort of how, can you see the bubbles on the hood sort of? Like on this side over here, you take a look at it, you can see how it's got that effect going on. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it. And it's just someone, it's over time. I'm not gonna, you know what? I'm not saying anything about the situation because I don't know the situation. And that's where it's easy to judge because you don't think. So I'm not gonna do any of that. I'm just gonna do the repair and happy to be alive. That's what's gonna happen. So anyways, as we're gonna do this, I'm thinking all the black has to come off. All the black has to come off. We have to tape up all stainless before we start. All the stainless will be taped up before we start. You would never want to come in and start sanding on your car and then swipe up against your chrome and stuff. Don't do that. Don't do that. Get that stuff all taped up. So after we do this video, Jolene will probably step in. She likes taping. She'll step in. We'll help tape the stainless off and get that all taped off. We will tape the bottom of the car off, and what we'll do is we'll tape it off from the pinstripe line. He's got a pinstripe right there. I don't know how the bottom went. Don't know. Wasn't there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to layer tape on the pinstripe, tape it down this way. So we try to no damage. That's another thing too. When you get working on stuff like this, I never did it as a business person because I was young and learning. But when you bring a car into the shop and you tear it all apart, you really should take a video or have someone with a camera go around the car and take a video of it to see what it looked like beforehand so you know what's going on. Like this sort of stuff. When you come in and you rip the car all apart, you would never know that the gap was like that. You wouldn't remember, and that's the stuff that you would know that you would fix, or you could show somebody if it's had a scratch anywhere or whatever. All it does is it helps you. It helps you in the time of need when you need it. Go around that car, videotape it, check it all out, look at this. Make it for yourself. Don't give it to nobody. Make it for yourself, just so you know. And that's the only way it can be done, because once she's all painted and all ripped down and scratched up, you cannot go back and say, well, this was this and that was that and this. No, you can't do that. You have not got the proof, really. So videotape the car, go around and see what it is and what it isn't. On this one, Joey's got the video camera out, we're going around it, it is what it is. But we are just gonna strip everything. And at the present moment, what I'm gonna say is we're just gonna pick the tool that does the job right. So the first tool that I'm gonna grab, there's a few tools in my mind that that take off paint. We have the one called the stripper wheel. The stripper wheel's over there, I'll get it later. That's what I use the Pepsi cooler for. She's just not for looks, I use everything. What we're gonna do is, I'm not gonna peel any, I'm not gonna tape anything off right quick. I'm just gonna maybe jump on the hood. There's nothing up front here that I can rub or take off. I'm gonna start peeling the hood, the roof. The three hardest things to strip is the hood, the roof, and the trunk. You know, you don't wanna get bouncing on it. This feels really nice and tight. On this process that I'm gonna do, when I use the DA, it does not matter if I dig at it or whatever, it does not matter, because I'm trying to take the paint off. I'm not trying to straighten it out, I'm just trying to take the paint off. So as I say I'm going to do this, I use four pieces of sandpaper, and it's 4080 prime and 220-400 paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the 80 grit, I'm going to try an 80 grit, and I'm going to try a 220 grit to see what it does to the paint. And then after I see what that does to the paint, and then I'm gonna try the stripper wheels to see what is the fastest, and then I'm gonna go for it. Strip some paint off. Jolene will help me tape off all the stainless and all that sort of stuff. And me and Jolene work as a team. I'll chase her around the car. Jolene's God, he's sitting here looking very nice. We didn't really make a video, but we sort of did, but didn't end up as a video. We've got some new steering column for it has come in. I did it, and we use them generally every time because of the price of them. Like you can get the steering wheel comes off, unpins, the steering wheel comes off, which will fit our steering wheel. It'll look nice in the car. Yeah, it'll look nice in the car. We got our gas cap, nice gas cap. I think it's kind of racy looking for the car. And I think also this car was a race car, was it not? Yeah, this car was a fastest car in the world at that time. We got some double D shafts, so when the steering column goes down through, this is our shaft that hooks up to it. We also have a double D joint, so we have a joint that goes on here that'll connect this to the steering column, and that'll go to the rack and pinion. And what else did we acquire? What else did we acquire? Up here. Also, we took the door off, took the pins out, popped the two pins out, took the door off, and Jeff has the door, and Jeff is doing window trim. So things are still going forward as we're sitting here. As Doug's car gets stripped and gets played with and gets painted, I probably will take out the fender or the seats maybe, and see if we can send them to have them upholstered. We got the material. Thank Hub and Liz for that. Thank you very much. We made a little tradie poo-poo. It worked out good. We have got the strut arm, and from looking at it and thinking about it, this is the way to go. The arm that I have in there now, if you look at a 65 Mustang, which the control arms I have are 65, what I have now is basically the same, other than they use the rubber and I use the Heim joint. I'm on the back side, they're on the front side. This is going to go on the back side, and it's going to turn that lower 1-point control arm. What I mean by 1 point is one bolt going through. You know, you can't have one bolt going through to hold your wheel on that far out. It's about that far out. So, you know, what this does here now, I've never seen these ones before, but that bolts onto that arm, them two holes that we plunked through it, for those who are following, the lower control arm, and that gives it 2 points of attachment. It almost makes it like a Chev control arm. It's got 2 bolts that go through that holds that arm. You don't need that strut arm. So this bolts on there and has a mount that would hold this, that makes it a 2-point, just like Chev would have made, but it's a bolt on. So I'm gonna go with this because it's reasonable and it'll give it a better up and down. Yes, it will, to give it a better up and down. But what I had would definitely work, because that's what I had originally, but they used a rubber. So that's another good thing. We only got one of those, so that's why we kind of, you know, put aside and backed off. So we got one of those, we need another one, and then the front end can pretty well be tied up, and there we'll go. I'm gonna get some sandpaper. All right, this is what I got. I've got some 220, and I've got some 80. That's the sandpapers I use generally. This is what we're gonna do. I'm thinking that we're taking all the paint off Doug's car. So on the top anyways, we're taking all the paint off. So as I come over here and go for it, this is a electric DA. This is porta cable. These ones have lasted the longest. I've used a few of them. This is the one that has lasted the longest. And I say that because the dust is very fine when it comes to this sort of stuff. It's electric. I enjoy them because they do not back off on power. I do not like hearing the air compressor run all the time. Don't like it. I do a lot of my body work with this, and I wouldn't know what to do without it. But it's electric. So when I was a young person, I could take it anywheres and work on somebody's car. Anywheres. You know, as long as he had a plug-in, I was working. You know what I'm trying to tell you. Now, I've got an 80 grit on this, and I'm just going to try it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rip it down to bare metal, see what happens, see how long it takes. See the rust on the front of the hood there, little side of rust there. See that there? I can just take that off. You know, you see the rust. It's just a little strip there. Not too bad. It's not going too bad. I'll try this for a little bit. I don't want to waste the paper, and then I'll try another one. Remember, when I'm leaning this, I'm not hurting anything. I'm trying to take paint off. It has been primed. The way it was coming off up there, I didn't know if it was primed or not. 220 is not going to take that off any faster. I think 220 is not going to take it off any faster, I don't think. I'm going to go get a 40 grit, believe it or not. I'm going to rip that off. I'm going to get a 40 grit, believe it or not. And then I'll try those. What'll happen is I'll take the 40 grit, let it dig into the paint, scratch. We'll see. I'll show you. Gotta get Bernie's seats back. Mass confusion in here. Mass confusion. I'm glad I ain't got a mic on. No one wants to hear me breathe like that. So I got a 40 grit. I'm just going to rub it on there and see what happens. Remember, we're taking all the paint off, and I'm just trying to find the fastest way possible to strip this thing down, that's all. And then we'll go for it. It might have to go over it all with 40 first, and then take it off with the 80 grit. Whatever is the quickest way. This paper becomes very expensive. I don't know what that is. Probably 100 and a half for that roll of paper. And paper's a big thing when you get working at a shop. You get wasted paper. Yeah, they don't like that. Now, see, this is what I like. See how that 40 grit has knocked that off like that? When it comes to the 80 grit will bite in a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is rub it over real quick like that. See how fast I can get this hood stripped. This is generally the way it goes. Fender. When you come in to price something, you get something done. Fender, $1,000. Hood, $1,000. Another fender, another $1,000. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll say 9 panels. You're looking at $9,000 if you were going to strip and repaint. Just to strip and repaint. You have like that's the basics for you. When someone goes roofing, they have a basis, but they start off how much dollars per square. So body men should have something like that if you're starting out. It's a good way to start pricing your stuff. Fender's $1,000 or hood's $1,000. As you put your material in there, the time to do it, and the time to recover it. So basically, I don't know if you're cutting yourself shy by that much, but you know, it's close. But anyways, let's see how fast I can strip the hood, and then we will know what it's going to take to strip the rest of it, won't we not? There's also another way we could put paint stripper on this, but we have good paint down below, and Joanne's going, no. Another good thing, you do not sandblast hoods. You do not sandblast a hood, you will ruin it. And that's just because sometimes if the paint gets warm, it's harder to dig off. Where it's fresh and cold, it's easier. So if I can work over here a little bit and then jump over here a little bit, kind of. We are stripping the whole car. If I was just doing the hood, we're stripping the whole car, so it hit the fender, doesn't matter. But if I was just doing the hood, I would have this taped off and have it masked off so you do not hit anything. Big question in the body world. As I'm doing this and I'm trying to make money, we might as well think of it as a job and that we're making money, even though we're just going to help Doug out and paint this thing. As I'm doing this, you have to think about in your brain, the time, would you rather pay for the time or would you rather pay for the material, if you know what I'm saying? I can run on this thing with a piece of dull sandpaper and do it and take all day. Or I can run on a piece of sharp sandpaper, 4 or 5 of them, and have it done in an hour or 2. So you have to really you really have to play in your mind which is the quickest and cheapest at all times. Pull that off because it's not cutting quite so sharp. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this back on here. Okay, so I'll come back to it. I got another one right here. Get it sharp so you can cut off faster. This is what I'm talking about. Do I use $20 or $15 worth of sandpaper, or do I spend all day with 2 pieces of sandpaper? There's a difference there. I was saying to Doug, I said, I just hope there's not a lot of dents in it. Well, we got a fixer. You know, there's our first one. You know what I mean? We got some material there. That's our first one. This is the exact same grit that I would sand body fill with the very first time, 40 grit. It's very hard to believe, I know, but it is. So you can see I am scratching the metal some places, but you can see I'm not really giving her hell and you know, tearing it all up. You know, I'm just kind of trying to get the top of it off. We'll try an 80 grit right after this so I can show you how it strips. Anytime I see a discoloring, you know something's been fixed. I'm going to try an 80. So it's usually 40-80, and that's when we do body fill. And right now I'm stripping paint and it's 40-80. So I've done the 40 on it, and I just put it back on there in case I want it. I have 80 grit I'm going to stick on here just to show you how we'll clean it up. When we clean it up, I'll show you. We'll make sure that we take it all off. I don't like it spotty. I like it nice and clean when it comes time to recoat it. You know. All the scratches in the paint, that 80 grit works pretty good. I think the more I get off of the 40 grit, the better I'm going to be, I think. I'm just going to keep going with that 40 grit, but I wanted to see what the 80 is going to do. Show you, show me. Massage the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? Just gonna clean her off. I'm getting back on the 40 grit. This dulled off really fast. I'm getting back on the 40 grit. I'm going to use the paper that I had, and I'm going to take some more of that black stuff off. Actually, I'm gonna go get a couple new pieces. I'll leave them there. I'll get the rest of the hood stripped off like that. Right back, baby. Right back. In different cars, we're stripped differently. Man, that's hard to get back in there. I gotta get Anyways, we got a lot of stuff in the way back there, and wind stuff's in the way. Yeah, so I'm going to keep going here. So we'll count the paper too. We'll count the paper and the time. That's how we do it. We'll count the paper and time, and then we'll know. Because generally what you would do, you would mark your hours down every day on a piece of paper that you have on the car, and how much material you used. It's okay. I don't want to get over near the gray paint. I don't want to stand on the side. I'm going to stand in the front. This hood is stripping really good. Hoods don't generally strip like this. And the reason I'm saying this is because there's usually more product on the hood. You know, when you paint the hood of a car, you can you're just spraying it on because it's a flat surface. Also, I can tell why things probably didn't work out so good for them. It's a lacquer primer, and there wasn't a whole lot of product on it. There wasn't a whole lot of product on it. If the paint solvent popped whatsoever, which I mean that, it didn't harden properly, the weather would be able to get in. And maybe that's what happened, I'm not sure. But there's not a whole bunch of product on this hood of this car, and that's a good thing. The reason I say that is because it would take longer to strip. Can you imagine with 3 or 4 different coats on that, how long that would take to strip? I can see someone spending a full day stripping the hood. And I'm obviously not going to do that because it's going quite quick, and I wanted to explain that what I have here right now is allowing that. Not throwing it away, that's for sure. Just gonna sharpen it up a bit with this and get the hood done. I'm not coming over to the side of the car. I don't want to touch the gray. Don't want to touch the gray right now. I'll do a lean thing. I'll get as far as I can, and we'll call it a video. You see how that comes off cutting that right quick? Yes, sir. So be careful with the hood too, right? It's like, that's why a sandblast can ruin the hood. Warp it right so quick. There's a fine example. When I do not want to go over to the side of the car to sand the hood because it's not taped up yet. That's the exact same thing when someone pulls their car in. I do not want to drive it because something may happen. If I go over to the side of the car and start acting foolish and start sanding the car and not thinking about it, I get a belt buckle and scrape up against that gray paint, where will I be then? Where will I be then? You have to ask yourself that. And anybody that gets in this business, sometimes it cannot go, it can take you backwards before you go ahead. So you really have to not take your hat off to people that stay in business for a long time, because it shows a responsibility that they have. It does. Shows the responsibility they have. So anybody that's been in business for a long time, I would say that is a very responsible person. If you're going to start a business, you might want to have some of that. actual fact, there's basically only 3 ways. Well, I should not say only. There's 3 ways that you can strip a car and be safe about it. There's 3 ways. You can do it with sandpaper. You can do it with a liquid, which is a stripper. Or you can use a stripping wheel. And I'm going to use a stripping wheel now to show you what I mean. So there's sandpaper. This is the way you should strip. A sandpaper, a stripper wheel, or a liquid paint stripper. That's how you should generally strip a vehicle. Do not strip it with a flapper wheel. What happens is you cut off the edges sometimes, you burn through and you gouge it. Do not do that. Do not spin too fast. Do not do it with a grinder. You know, unless you have a stripper wheel. You know, you have to have the right stripper wheel, sandpaper, or liquid. So that's what we got on the hood so far. Now I'm just going to grab, as far as I really want to go with the 40 grit, I'm going to grab a stripper wheel. Might even have one on the drill over here. I'm going to move this stuff. Now I'm going to try the stripper wheel. And that will get this stuff in here. We'll get the stripper wheel in there and go around the tight places. And that'll make it better. So we've got, I don't know, 4 or 5 pieces of sandpaper so far. So that sandpaper is probably $1.25 a piece. So you're looking at, you know, $10 for your sandpaper, $10 probably. Oh, there's a drill with a stripper wheel on it. We buy them as 2. You can buy one for $15 or $16, or you can buy 2 on a wheel for $17. And I'm acting like the little fat kid. I want the 2 for $17, right? There. I want to put a pair of glasses over this. I don't like that spins quite fast. You get something in my eye today, I won't be happy. So I'm gonna guard up. And people are always saying, put a mask on, put a mask on. You know, I hunted chickens for 15 years. Shit flying, dust flying, shit flying. Never wore a mask. I probably should. It doesn't mean I shouldn't, but I've done this for years and I've never worn a mask. Just going to tamp the lymph node, make sure everything's working. You know what? This is so simple. What I do here, me and Jolene do here. Everybody in the world should do it themselves, to themselves, because it's so simple. And make your lymph nodes work and get your filters working. Why would you not? Everybody in the world should be doing it. Everybody. Just going and digging in like that a little bit. I just wasn't realizing it, but that's lead. Different color. You can see a little pinhole there. That's lead. And I hate to say it, you know, as we think, oh, put lead and everything, but that lead has to be covered up with body fill to make it look nice. dent. You see a little spot there? You're gonna need a little swipe of something, if you know what I'm saying. There's a spot there, so. Get an old car like this, and you get a bunch of people stripping on it, just giving her. You can have some fun. Everybody just giving her, right? But if you're by yourself and you're stripping, it sure can get you down because it's a big job. I've done it too many times to get me down. See that? A little bit of rust there. See that, right? Different color. Now what will happen is, we'll have to prime the car. We'll have to prime it. And what will happen is, we will, still got 40 grit of this, we'll have to prime it, we'll have to guide code it to find all that little stuff. Everything's so little, you would have to guide code it to find it. Guide code to find it. Off the rest of black, still got 40 grit on it. Gonna take off the black. I'm just stripping the hood to show you. So we all know that the car has to be taped off before we start sanding. So me doing this hood is, I'm away from everything, but that windshield has to be taped off. All the stainless has to be taped off before we get going. We will pull the door handles off. The dirt off that. Now I'm going to go to an 80 grit. We're going to try to make this look like something. One of these. What I mean by look like something. What I mean is the next step, so we can get some primer on. So if I get the 80 on it, see it's 40-80 prime. We get the 80 on it, get it cleaned off, then we know we can put primer on. Or we can put primer on. We are prepared. And this is a good hood to strip. I will not It's a good quick strip. The paint is coming off really nice. I don't generally like stripping black because you get so dirty, but it is what it is. There you go. Let's get her cleaned up. Just trying to get all the primer off. Make sure we get down that fine stuff. Get that rough that's laying there. We're going to burn the sandpaper up quite quick. We are seeing the steel. Puppy? Is that our doggy poo-poo? Gonna grab another piece of paper. I think we have company, do we not? And we have somebody coming looking at the Bugatti. Jerry's bringing a friend, I think, to look at it. He's an older guy that's come down with Parkinson's. It's sad, but I enjoy that he gets to come look at it. What, with Jolene? For sure I do.
Geez, I picked up a stray on the way.
Did you? Cool.
Brought Roger up, and this is the famous Rick Dunham.
Infamous.
Infamous.
Hey, James Rick Dunham.
How you doing?
I own the Spitfire in Windsor.
Okay, cool.
You guys have been in there, I
We have,
understand.
yes,
Of course, you know
How you
Roger.
doing, Roger?
Yeah, nice to meet you, Jolene.
Nice to meet you. Hi,
Yeah,
Roger.
you good?
I'll get out of your way here.
How you doing? We're just getting into Doug's car.
Hi, Dick. Nice to see you.
Roger.
Good to see you.
Oh, yes, you're Jolene, aren't you?
You have a bunch of cars too, I hear.
I heard that.
I heard that, he says. You enjoy the hobby too?
Well, it's more like an affliction.
Well, it was explained best by, what's his name there again?
I'm gonna show you something here, Jolene.
It's a
real quick
disease.
Before I forget.
You know?
It's a disease.
It's a disease.
And my wife says, Rick, you're a hoarder.
Well, you know what?
And I said, I'm a collector.
Oh, I see.
And you're saving it for the next person,
Jeff's
obviously.
got one of the
That's
doors
right, you're
there.
saving it for the next
Yeah.
person. And it wasn't for people like you and I, like, what would they do without us? You know what I'm saying? What would they do without us? What would people look forward to, you know? To me.
Well, you're a lot younger. My advanced age, I just enjoy it.
Oh, I enjoy it nicely. History period.
This is the thing we were talking about for the,
Enjoy.
go on there for the signal light. See, there it is there.
When the sale's all done.
And there's the,
Up here, it's $10,
we don't know if
$1,000.
the slope is right, but they're 9 inches,
Okay.
9.5 inches if they'll fit.
Nowhere to go.
And that's all for what kind of car?
It's off of Jaguar XK120. Roger brought that picture up to show you. That's what they come off of. Peter Osborne has them on his car.
Okay.
And there they are there. You buy them from Moss. You can get them from, I wrote that down for you. You can buy them from Bruce McDonald there in Bench Automotive.
Awesome.
And you get the little inserts for them. But that might work.
Yeah, right.
It's got a fair curve to it.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a curve. You might want to look at before you buy them because they're not cheap. They're like $100 a piece.
Okay.
You might want to take a look at them and see what they're like. See if the curve is right. Peter's the only guy I know's got any of them on a car.
Yeah, he's the only one around.
Yeah,
They've all got the leader ones.
yeah. So what do you think of that?
It looks so low on the ground, eh?
What?
Looks some good on the ground.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
That's Jolene's Bugatti. So what I've done is I took a picture of Ralph Lauren's car,
Oh, yes.
$40 million car, and I said, "You're so beautiful, Jolene. I want to build you a beautiful car."
Can't argue with that.
Can't argue that.
We'll get you in trouble. So what did you start with?
I started with a junker 544 Volvo, and I cut it in half, and I just kept the roof.
Wow.
Yeah. So then I just,
That's the roof?
that's basically just the roof.
You gonna be able to drive this?
If you
Oh,
look
yeah.
inside, you can see where I butt welded it together. Where I
How
cut
long
it
have
in
you been
half.
working on this?
Right up here.
I think he started
And
it
so I
about
got it
4
from-
years ago, and
from
he got
there-
6 months in, and then we had to
from here
put it away in storage because we
to-
did TV.
A little better in the back
So we've
window.
been working on it
only used the
since
windshield.
November,
Oh.
consistently, like
Yeah, there's
The
been
just-
an hour a
rubber's
day.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes time to put it together, for sure.
It's coming. Yeah, just basically about this piece, and then I added all this. You know.
Good job, Rick.
It is indeed.
Is it okay to take a picture, Chad, or no?
Yeah, for sure. It's getting better and better all the time. Because we're getting closer. You know, what I mean, we're getting closer. The suspension's nowhere near done, but I mean, I gotta finish the body.
Is this
and then
something
I
you
get
can do
it all
driving
and
the
I get
road?
the suspension
yeah.
done.
Yeah.
The dash looks good.
Yeah.
Well, that's just a buck, isn't
Yeah.
it? I saw you guys over at Jeff's doing it. My geez, that looked nice.
Wow. Yeah. He's got the door now, so the windows are starting to get done, the window work. And that's exciting too, you know. Yeah, that's exciting.
I brought this up for you. I was just showing Jolene.
Okay.
You know, we were talking about
Yeah.
headlights.
You can buy those?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Right here.
Yeah?
What Peter Osborne has got a 120 like that.
Yeah.
And there they are.
Right on.
Okay, on there. That's all they were ever used on. And I was thinking, now, it's just a thought. I don't know what you're thinking.
Listen, you can throw your thoughts and I'll put them wherever I need be.
I was thinking, if the curve of these things are right, you know, you don't wanna break this up. In my mind, you're the artist, not me. But my thought was you wouldn't wanna break it up.
I didn't mind that, where you just put those.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, they're 9.5 inches. Have you got your tape?
Didn't mind that tall.
No, that would be one place to put them. So you guys are making film out of Doug's car, are you?
Yeah, well, just basic car content for everybody, you know what I mean? Like, everybody likes car content. 9 inches.
That's 9 inches there. Yeah. So yeah, you might be able to make more. But they're cast aluminum.
Okay.
What these aftermarket ones?
I know we do want the backlights that you sent up the last
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
We want 4 of those,
Yeah.
2 amber, 2 red. I think we'd like those, but we'd like to have a glass.
Well, you. Oh yeah, they can. That's all
Yeah,
they are.
we couldn't find the glass. They said they were only plastic in a couple of them, I think. We looked at them, they were plastic, were they not, baby?
Not sure.
No, they're glass.
Okay.
And if you don't, I have the glass.
Okay.
I have the glass lenses, dozens of them.
That's gonna be some cool to drive around in this, man.
It is.
You're gonna be the king of the hill, you guys, right?
This thing, and actually it's gonna be quite a rocket ship really, isn't it? With that little, that 6-cylinder in it, with that little car, isn't it? It'll be
I
quite
think
fast.
so.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, it's gonna be a
How much do you think it's
smoker.
gonna weigh?
I can't see it, 2,500 pounds.
Gee, that's right.
I don't know, it might be more than that, but we got a small gas tank in it. So.
Yeah, you won't be going further.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'll leave that,
Cool.
leave it there, and I put the part number, there's the part number there, if you order it from Bruce, that's the part number, but I really think you wanna go down to Peter's, next time you come to the city,
Yeah.
go over and look at Peter's, and see if it's not too,
Yeah,
you know,
I know what you're saying.
and there's two little studs in the bottom of it that go down through.
It would look cute on there though, something coming back from the headlight.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, it would look cute.
Yeah, because it's sort of,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm gonna have to get myself a belt sander and get this smoothed off. It's kind of, I got it kind of, you know what I mean? If I had a belt sander on there, I could run that up there, like a wood belt sander, I'm thinking. I don't care what the sandpaper does, as long as it flattens it out a little bit.
Nice line, wow.
But it's coming, you know.
Where to get this on?
Yeah, it is good. I mean,
How many cars you have?
not enough.
tell the
I
truth.
love that
I
guy.
don't know, 25 maybe? I don't
Is that
know.
right?
Yeah. But nothing of exceptional value.
Can you, well, listen, every car is sentimental value, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't touch my damn car. Right? What kind of, tell me what kind of cars you got?
I got two 27s, a 27T and a 27 Model A Chev, just a little two-door thing.
Yeah?
37 Chev, a two-door, 47 Lincoln Continental.
Just a minute now, 47 Lincoln Continental. What's that look like? 2-door, 4-door?
Two-door,
It's a convertible.
convertible.
Oh, wow.
It's a barge.
The birds.
There you go.
The Lincoln part got me.
Yeah.
Is it restored? Is it just
Yeah,
original?
it's original car, drivable. You worked on it, didn't you, Jerry?
I put the wiring harness in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they changed the motor, put a Cadillac engine in it, and made it automatic, made it user-friendly.
Yes?
And it wasn't user-friendly with the flathead and the
Yeah.
standard shit, but it's well done, it's a nice car.
Yes? It sounds nice.
Then there's a 54 Chev half-ton, really nice, B31,
Yeah.
55 Thunderbird, 50-somethings.
And 65
I got
Mustang,
65 Mustangs,
convertible, that's.
convertible, 66 Mustang GT, 61 Lincoln Continental convertible, the 4-door.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful white car. 62 Cadillac Birds convertible.
62 Cadillac. Brits, you say?
Yeah, no, Series 62. Sorry.
Series 62.
Yeah, just a big white thing. It's really cool.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's Cadillac.
Yeah, Cadillac.
Canyon Road.
You still got your Ranchero, or?
Well, I got rid of that. I got 73 Mach 1 Mustang, the Q motor in it with like the Boss engine in it.
What color?
It's grabber green, almost like a Maverick green.
Okay.
It's a really good car for going straight. It's a rotisserie car. It did a great job on it. Yeah, it's amazing.
It's got a little chicken in it. Rotisserie.
Rotisserie, that's it. We're chicken, all right. And I have the regular other stuff.
When am I allowed to come look at your stuff?
Well, we came unannounced. You come knock on the door, I'm home.
Okay.
Go down to Spitfire and have a beer and go have a look at it.
That'd be
what
great.
we're going for lunch today.
Awesome.
I can't think of anything else that sticks out.
Okay.
Newer model.
Now, what ones that Debbie don't know about? Oh, we shouldn't mention that because this.
That happens. Does he tell you everything he buys, Toby?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's Dusty.
Well, I mean,
Because this is why it'll show up on YouTube tonight,
Right.
and we tell too much here, then Debbie.
do you have any cars that are fixers?
You mean it needs to be, that don't
anything-
drive? No.
yeah, anything that
They're
you
all
buy is-
drivable.
Okay.
But don't talk to my wife, she'll sell you anything.
No, I probably can't afford them ones. I was thinking with the non-fixable ones.
No, I haven't got any. If I see one, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
got a 63 T-Bird that's really nice too.
Yes.
Just a little two-door.
Comes down, got the
Yeah.
nose like that, yeah.
And the slide-away
Well, that's
steering wheel.
what Doug wanted.
Yeah,
He was trying to get you to trade for his Mercedes there. yeah.
they're easy to get in the ground, they're hard to get out.
I got you. You just drive, you can only drive one at a time. You can drive one a year?
Yeah,
And
one a day.
one a
It never
day?
got gas in it, you know. what I
Okay,
mean.
so you drive them all, try to.
Yeah. Oh, that 37 Chev, I got the big deck on the side that says Spitfire on it. It's pretty cool. I bought it in Alberta. It's really good condition.
Yeah?
Just a straight car, nothing fancy. Just a 6-cylinder standard.
I like that sort of stuff. nothing fancy.
Two-door.
Two-door, yeah.
But they're pretty cheap out west.
I guess what's considered cheap, I have no idea, but.
Well, cheap compared to what you guys want for cars.
Well, everything here, I mean, let's face it, if it's here, you've gotta pay a little bit for shipping.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're so far, I
Yeah,
mean,
usually-
honestly, I mean, let's face it, when things are that way are cheaper than they are here because you have to ship it here. You go to Newfoundland, cars are a little more expensive.
Oh, a lot.
Because you gotta ship them there, like, you know what I mean, like.
You talk to anybody in Ontario and they think Nova Scotia is just the other side of Greenland. You know?
We're the safest place in the world.
Yes, that's right.
It's a nice place down here, we're very lucky.
Yeah, but, yeah,
Russ is only in the part they don't cut off, right?
like, I love Russ, what are you guys talking about? I love that stuff.
You tell her.
I would have a job if it wasn't for Russ.
Pulling that, that'll come out.
Yeah.
Well, I hope not.
See the hubcap, see the good watch it made for this?
Gee, you did a great job.
He did, didn't he?
Those are old Jaguar hubcaps.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right, we're gonna wrap this up just because, just come over and look at the hood for a second. This is what we got it looking like. I haven't got it all stripped off yet. This is not stripped off completely. I still wanna take that primer off just in case there's something there. I wanna get that primer off. And that's what I have to do. But that's stripping the hood. And that's what we're gonna have to do the whole top of the car. We'll strip it all off. We won't whine, we won't cry. We'll do the job. We'll be happy to do it. We appreciate Doug, everything he's done for us. And this is how we're gonna show him. Peace out, everybody.